highly disappointed.
What up there, Guess? Answers by Guess.
Zip.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, guys. We are here for the live show. Got those questions from the group. Going to do some live questions. Remember, always like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Patreon. Always look for those hashtags, Answers by Guess and ABGFF. Buy Mageddon, plus Injury Mageddon, plus, I don't know, craziness happening all around. But bye weeks, Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts, New Orleans Saints, and Washington Commanders. Yeah, that's just a lot of people, a lot of teams for a week 14 that everybody needs to win. It seems like a lot of close games, man. So I'm going to post questions from the group real quick. Let's start with Darko's comment here.
I'm the YouTube DJ, so
No problem. He goes, Darko, this week is the worst. Then bye Mageddon with the teams that are on bye along with injured players. Holy crap, started with the same thing. What was the NFL thinking having 6 teams on a bye week 14? Fantasy? Hello?
talked about that in the recorded shows.
Crazy stuff. All right. This is a big question I'm seeing everywhere. Homer seems to be the topic. Start Jeff Wilson, Michael Carter, or Travis Homer?
Talked about that in the recorded shows. I'm going to go with Jeff Wilson going against the Chargers out of these guys.
All right. Next one up here. Rachaad White or Foreman if Barkley is out?
Oh, well, I do like Foreman. I did talk about recorded shows that I kind of like Rachaad White going against the Niners. The stats of how good they are against the run is kind of fictitious. How statistics can lie, you got to know the whole story. So I'm going White. White because, real quick before I tend to the whining, he's going to catch passes. And I think Chuba's going to catch a lot of passes today. Hold on. What?
No problem.
What do you want? Riley's keeping you warm. Snuggle.
All right, Alan, with another one here. Tony, who's actually out. Everett, Jordan Mason, or Breida, or one of these guys, just the must-win to get into playoffs. Lazard and Olave on a bye. Free agents are Terrence Marshall Jr., Parker, Dortch, Dorsett, Westbrook, Akeed, Sherfield, and Chark.
Can you hear him whining over there?
I cannot.
Can you throw that back up real quick?
Sorry. Crap.
Trying to digest. Number 4.
So, again, Tony's out, but Everett, Jordan Mason, Breida, one of these guys, must-win situation. Marshall Jr., Parker, Dorsett, Westbrook, Keene, Sherfield, and Chark.
Yeah, 10 a.m. today. That was the post that went out yesterday morning. I like Everett. But, I mean, Dortch, we talked about in the recorded shows. Parker, I talked about in the recorded shows. Terrace Marshall, I talked about in the recorded shows. I think either 3 of those could be, more needed than Everett. I don't know. If you want to go safe, I go with Everett. Maybe this is the week that you should want to. Out of those 3 on the bench, I mean, I'm leaning Dortch. But I don't know. I like all 3 of those guys. Go with your gut on them. I'm playing Terrace Marshall myself in a couple leagues, playing Dortch in a couple leagues. Parker was somebody I looked at, kind of liked. If I had Everett, I'd probably just go Everett this week. But
I'm a safe guy. Everett would probably be my choice. I like Sherfield for the big play, but you got to hope for the big play. Otherwise, you're pretty much getting nothing.
Right, and he just had the one last week. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, I mean, he's had like maybe 4 targets a game. A couple of them been big, but they're going to be able to run a lot against the Chargers. They will be throwing, but if they choose to run, either one of those guys, Mostert or Jeff Wilson, could break a long run, and then there goes a bunch of the passes for Sherfield. So
makes sense. You know what I realized I did? I posted to the group. So some of the people that you're seeing Facebook user, I'm not going to know who they are. Oops. All right.
sorry, users.
My bad. All right. Dawn with the question here.
Bunch of users out there.
Playoff start this week for me. I have Hill, Debo, Godwin, and Wilson. Running backs are Mixon, Pacheco, White, Murray, and Pirine. Do I play all my wide receivers, and use Murray in my flex?
Using Hill, I like Godwin and Wilson. Mixon, Pacheco, White. But play all my wide receivers. Is Murray in a flex? I mean, which running backs are you starting, Dawn? I wish that you were watching the live. I'm not sure if you are. If you are, you might just be a user.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep my phone open to see.
But I mean, I want to roll with Mixon. I want to roll with Pacheco, and I would actually use White over Murray. So hopefully that helps. I mean, we got to hope Debo gets through and comes through. If you could use 4 running backs and then Hill, Godwin, Wilson, that would be kind of interesting for me.
All right.
I would leave Pirine out of this. Pirine's the bottom. I think the order you have them is the order I'd play them, and I would put Debo below Godwin and Wilson.
All right, Michael, see with the question here. Due to bye weeks and injuries, I need 2 of the following 3 wide receivers in a big money league: Dorsett, Dortch, or Aguilar. PPR and point per target, as well as point for every 5 yards receiving. Or here's the available wide receivers list that is available: Slim Pickens, Watkins, Sherfield, James Jr., Hodgins, Bourne, Chenault, and Sky Moore.
I'm going Hodgins and Dortch. That's what I'm doing. I'm not playing the carousel that is the Patriots. I think Tyquan Thornton could come through, possibly, and I think Devontae Parker is going to be the best of them. I've talked about that since I think the Tuesday show. He's due for something, so that leaves out Bourne and Aguilar. If it's the other 2 guys, I mean, they could be all involved. I think they do run 2 tight end sets, which I talked about in the recorded shows. And I like Hodgins' ascension and trajectory. And Dortch was the guesstimator. I watched the show.
Dortch! All right, Alan with another one here. Starting homer over any of these guys: Henry, Foreman, DPJ, or Slayton?
No.
I don't think I would either. DJ Dallas seems like he's not going. Kenneth Walker seems like he's not going.
Yeah,
but Tony Jones, I don't know.
Tony
I think
Jones
he's going to throw the ball.
Goldman.
Yeah, Wayne Goldman, you had mentioned him. Yeah, that's right.
So it's like, Homer's not going to be a workhorse.
All right, let's go here. Jeremy with the one asked in the group and no one responded. I'm starting Stevenson, Pats, D, and Folk. Getting nervous with so many players on one game. Is it a good idea to switch Folk out for Badgley with a high-scoring Detroit, Minnesota? Thoughts on Badgley the rest of the season?
Field goals are often good in those primetime games. We saw that this week with 2 games being 16-3. I mean, that's 4 field goals right there. And then when the other team comes back, it adds a couple more extra points. They win 17-16, which we talked about in the recorded shows. 2 games this week, Monday night and Thursday night, were the same exact game. 16-3 in the 4th quarter with a few minutes left, and then the other team wins 17-16. So field goals are typically pretty good in those primetime games. I think that Badgley could outscore Nick Folk this week, but rest of season, you know what? I probably would do it, and here's why. Because without looking at the schedule, I'm just going blindly into it. Detroit plays their games in the Dome. New England plays their home games in New England, where the weather is going to start to be a factor. Just give me the safer route. And I don't know. Maybe Detroit's got a couple road games coming up against like teams that play outside in terrible weather. Probably Green Bay is one of them. I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedules, but I'm okay if you want to make that move if your gut says so today. Why not?
I actually picked up Badgley in a league, and my son picked up Badgley in a league with the hoping in the higher scoring game, like you're mentioning. Interesting though about the Dome. I know they play the Jets sometime soon as well. Not sure. I think the Jets are home for that one though. Kittle or Dulcich? I'm sorry, Dulcich.
Today, tight end is a backup QB's best friend. That game could be a little lower scoring, but then you say, well, all Denver games are lower scoring. They're using him, Dulcich, more as a wide receiver, and they said they want to continue to do that. No Cortland Sutton. Just give me Dulcich.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Dulcich for the volume as well. They got to see what Purdy's gonna do. All right, Jeremy, are we assuming DK plays? It seems like he's on track to play. I have Boyd on my bench and starting Waddle. I also have DPJ, but looking to flex him over Walker, which Walker's more than likely out. So I'm guessing it's a wide receiver and between Boyd, DPJ, and DK.
Go with DK, Waddle, and I like DPJ. Talked about him in the recorded shows. Once again, I would probably take a shot with him over Boyd. I mean, everything I said last week, halfway came true with Chase in there. Boyd does a little bit better, but Chase is going to be a little bit better this week. But one of the corners is back. I'm not sure if Ward is back for the Browns. Doesn't really matter because Boyd will go into the slot if need be. But I'm taking a shot at DPJ. Thought he would catch a long one last week. I think he definitely does this week. I think Watson's going to be better. I'm going to go with DPJ over Boyd. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm doing. Go with your gut.
All right, Matt P with a question here. Deontay Johnson, Najee, Donta Foreman, James Cook currently have Foreman in as RB2 and Deontay as flex. Must win to secure second seed as well as a first round bye.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Talked about in the recorded shows. Once again, James Cook, I wonder how much. I mean, I've been talking about him for weeks, saying basically it looked like he was going to be the guy. It's somebody that I was circling and telling people to do since, I want to say, like week 6, 7, 8, right in that range. But then after a little more careful analysis of last week's game, they had the game in control. And I'm wondering if James Cook's extra usage last week was more so because they were completely dominant over the Patriots. So going against the Jets, a little bit tougher defense. I'm fine with Deontay, Najee, and Donta Foreman.
All right. Spencer with the question here. Need a pivot for Saquon. What would you do? I have to show the pictures. I reminded myself.
He's always so demanding. Show the pic.
It's definitely not him. It's me all the way. Just I'm reminding myself. Otherwise, I'll be like, where's his team? All right. This is his starting lineup. White, Barkley, Elliott, Jefferson, Ayuk, Kelsey, and Pierce. And then his bench is Johnson, White, Dulcich, DPJ, Watson, Williams, and Cook. And the question was, again, Saquon pivot.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier in the week. Gave you a few guys I kind of like. Listen, if Saquon doesn't play, you put Rachaad White in. That's your best bet.
All right. Let me go to the next question here for him. Worried about Ayuk with his quarterback as well as Pierce going against Dallas. Put in Johnson for Ayuk.
I do not hate Johnson over Ayuk. I'm fine with that play. I'm leaving Pearson.
I agree with Mills. We talked about that. I think that is going to help out.
However, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Pierce for Barkley, and then I'm going to put, obviously, you want to put the later, and then I would put Rachaad White in the flex, just in case.
All
And
right.
Barkley doesn't go, and that's what you do.
They're also saying now Watson is going to have designed runs. Does Mike White to start anything? So I guess should he still play Mike White over Deshaun Watson?
This was, again, recorded shows. Would have been easy to tell. I would go Watson over White. We said that White would have a good first week. He had a good first week. I said that he would be not so good the second week. He was not so good the second week. We saw this last year. It's a rerun. You've seen this show. You've seen this episode before. You got one guy that's going down against a little bit tougher defense. Watson's also going against a tougher defense, obviously, since he's tougher than Houston. But I'm taking a shot with Watson.
All right. I can take this off now. All right. Tim got a question here. Oops, it's a long one. Tied for the division lead at 9-4 and happened to be playing this guy. I'm tied with $100 and first round buy are up for grabs. His D went and got 10 points already against the Rams. So I'm asking, do I keep Mike Evans in flex or put it in a returning Carter who did decent against the Bills last time they played? Evans or Carter?
I'm probably going to keep Evans in.
I think there's more of a shot there. Yeah. I mean, the way that Knight's been playing too, they really like him.
I mean, now there's 4 running backs for the Jets.
Yeah.
Essentially. And Evans has been down a couple of weeks, so much to the point where I was said in the recorded shows, like, it seems like, his career is declining. There was no Lattimore last week, and still he did really nothing. But, after a couple down weeks, Brady could be looking to get him going today against his favorite team as a kid, the 49ers.
All right, Leah with a question here. Tennessee against Jacksonville or Baltimore against Pittsburgh?
I think Baltimore seems like the easy choice, but I'm going to go with Tennessee because there's a good chance they're going to be playing against Mr. Beat Hard, and I'll take that at home. Baltimore's on the road. Tennessee's at home. I'm going to go with Tennessee.
You know what's funny is I actually had the same exact situation. I have Baltimore. I picked up Tennessee defense, and I'm starting Tennessee defense over Baltimore this week as well. All right, we're going to get to your questions live now. Yeah, just got to find them. All right. Oh, crap, 10 a.m. Yeah, I got a little earlier start. Sorry, guys. That's my fault. I got holiday stuff to happen today, so.
I wish we knew who these users were.
I'm going to go with that Spencer. Okay. For some reason. I don't know why. All right.
What happens when you assume?
No. I think he was the one that was signed in when I was looking at the phone. It showed I was watching with him. So, All right. Donnie with one here. White, Homer, Hollywood. Need 2. I have Hopkins already.
I'm going with White and Hollywood. I'm taking the Monday Night Magic. I think White's going to be more productive than Homer. I mean, listen, Travis Homer is what he is. He's not Kenneth Walker. I don't even think he's Rashad Penny. So he's going to be the guy, but they're going to have Tony Jones Jr. getting some snaps, and Wayne Gallman's going to get some snaps. They are fine passing the ball with Laquan Treadwell's going to be activated today. Goodwin's been doing his thing. They got more than enough option. Fanta Claus came through last week. They got 2 other tight ends. I don't think Homer's going to be a workhorse. Could he do okay in PPR? Sure. But you got Fournette kind of banged up going into this one. The 49ers, as talked about in recorded shows, really are not that good against the run. They have good stats against the run because they haven't played a team. They played 2 teams that are in the top 18 with running efficiency so far this year. 2 teams out of 12 games, I guess, so far. 13 games, whatever it is, 12. So I'm going with Rachaad White. We know he's going to catch passes. We know he can run the ball. We know they like to use him near the end zone. He caught a touchdown last week, and Fournette's banged up. I'm going with White and Hollywood, so I have some Monday Night Magic.
I would go the same. You know what? I was wrong. It wasn't Spencer. Maybe I'm thinking I saw Tim as well on there. It could be him. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I made a mistake today. I usually have this going pretty good, but my bad. All right. Darko with a question here. Chark versus Vikings or Zay Jones questionable against the Titans?
Well, I am worried about Trevor Lawrence. Mr. Beathard, I mean, he's serviceable. Zay Jones isn't the guy that I really like. Darko, you're super high on DJ Chark. Just keep rolling with him. They're going to get Jameson Williams more involved today. But that game, to me, seems like it could be a little more back and forth. The Titans could be looking to just run the ball as much as possible today, get back to their roots. I mean, aside from Chiggy and Woods, I'm not too into Ickheim. So I'll go with Chark here, and hopefully he stays their number 2 throughout this game. I'm going with DJ Chark.
All right, Alan. We playing Barkley if he does play.
I feel like you kind of have to. It's so risky, but I mean, unless you got like a really good, better option, I think you kind of have to.
All right. Gabe Davis, White, DPJ, Foreman, Barkley. Start 1 wide receiver and 1 flex.
Oh man, Gabe Davis is so boomer bust. So is DPJ to a degree. Oh boy. I'll probably go Gabe Davis. I don't love it so much, but I'll make him my wide receiver. And, between White and Barkley, it's so close for me. But I'm liking White this week. I'm trusting my analytics. I'm trusting what I saw when I looked at the Niners matchups against the run. And with Fournette kind of banged up, I don't mind just rolling with White. I really don't. I think that Brady wants to get rid of the ball so quick. He's going to catch a bunch of passes. And I think, with Purdy being in there, it's possible that they have a few extra possessions in this game. And that's always good for a running back. And I do think that they win. Also good for a running back if you're looking to ice it fourth quarter.
All right, Alan with another one here. Watson or Cousins? Good question.
I think you're a little bit safer with Cousins here.
I think you got to go a little safer on this one. That should be a high-scoring game. I think, what do we say, the over-under was, 52 or something like that?
Back and forth. I think you have to.
All right, just give a heads up. This is Tim, so the
Tim.
Facebook user here.
It's crazy.
All right, I'm going against Hertz, CMC, Stevenson, DJ Moore, CD, Dulcich, Foreman, and Sanders, or LOL Murderers Row. All right, Rachaad White over Pierce.
Yeah, probably.
That's a close one for me, too. I just think White's going to get so much burn. I mean, I'm happy that Mills is coming back. Pierce hasn't been that great. I think you got to go the hot hand on that one. All right. Tim says, I have Huntley, Mixon, Eckler, DK, Devonta, Evans, Butker, and Ravens D. Going through my waivers to see if I have any switches. And then I guess Spencer added, if Saquon is in, I guess, are you playing Rachaad White over Pierce?
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, Saquon's so tricky. I mean, the fact that it is going to be game time is tricky. We've seen it before a couple of years. Like, we thought we were out of the woods, so to speak, with Saquon this year, and now this has popped up. It's driving some people nuts. Michael Charlton's like, where are you guys seeing that he might not play? He's freaking out. I feel like he's going to go, as I talked about, as we talked about in the recorded shows. I mean, this is as big as it gets. I mean, you're playing against Philly. You got to win this game. You're slipping. He obviously is going to give them the best. Yeah, DMX. And he's itching to play. Will the coaches put him out? I think they do. I think if he does, you got to go with him. So you go with Saquon and White. I mean, if injuries drive you nuts and in-game injuries drive you nuts, which they do for me, and they at all worry you, then I'm fine with Pierce and White. But if it was me, I'm gonna go Saquon and White.
All right. This is Leah thanking you for answering the questions. Like I said before, it was not Spencer. All right. This one's from Chad.
How do you know?
I'm looking at it as I'm. You see, I got to make things work.
On here? Oh, you are the master. That's why we keep you around, Rob.
I screwed up.
That's okay.
All right. Chad says, I need 2. Pacheco, Swift, Jamal Williams. Also need a flex. One of the running backs that did not get used. Or Keenan Allen, Slayton, or Judy. Sorry.
Gosh. Like right off the bat, I just want to go just play all 3 running backs. And then I see Keenan Allen, Jerry Slayton, Jared Judy. I'm like, okay. Now I know why you're asking the question. I like Swift and the way he's going. Jamal Williams can fall into an end zone at any given moment. I like the matchup for Pacheco against Denver. Just like the way they're using them, but they got a couple other guys there. So we need 2 running backs. I'm going to go with, I like Pacheco. I'm just going to go with both Lions. In a back and forth game, that way they get close, they give it to one of them, you're getting it, no matter what, for the most part. And hopefully they don't throw Justin Jackson in there, who I did talk about in the recorded shows. So I'm going to go with both Lions, which is probably not a popular opinion, but that's what I'm going to do because I like Swift between the 20s, and Jamal Williams is getting it done inside the 20s. So I'm going with both of those. In a game, they should be able to move the ball pretty easily. Christian, what are you doing? And a flex, then I'm looking at Pacheco, Keenan, Slayton, or Judy. I'm going to go with Slayton. Playing against the Eagles, I think they're going to be behind. It's the highest volume. Like, I know Keenan's going to be involved, but Mike Williams is playing. Josh Palmer's been fine. Everett's fine. Eckler can do it. I mean, especially like if Barkley, if anything happens to him, God forbid, Slayton's that guy. So I'm going to go with Swift, Williams, and Slayton.
All right. This next one's from Tim. QB waivers, Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, Tannehill, Pickett, Purdy, or Darnold, or does he just keep Huntley?
Oh, I talked about in the recorded shows my feelings on Pickett. If it's not this game, it's one of the final 4 games of the year. He's going to have a 4-touchdown game. That could be 3 passing and 1 rushing, could be 2 and 2, but it's going to be 4 touchdowns. He's been huddling around a bunch of nonsense, 15 points for weeks, every week. He's going to have 1 blow-up game before the season's over. Not sure if it's this week, but it sets up really well. Daniel Jones, he's got decent weapons. The tight end's back. Hodgins, Slayton, Richie James, bitch. I think Daniel Jones is a Hail Mary, and that's what I'm playing with this week. I'm just threw 2 Hail Marys out there, 2 leagues. I'm rolling with Pickett. TJ Watt's playing. Huntley, I think at this point of the season, I don't think in real life he is, but I think in this point in the season, he gives the Ravens a better chance to move the ball on offense. And something was up with Lamar. He wasn't playing well at all the past month. Again, J.K. Dobbins back. Could be a couple dump-offs. I'm going to go, actually, I'm just going to say, because those 2 guys, Pickett and Huntley, can go either way, I'm going to go Daniel Jones. He's going to use his legs. It's going to be volume. He's going to have to put up points. So I'm going Daniel Jones.
All right.
Please don't mind the bouncing ball.
Tim says, my running backs, Mixon, Eckler, Carter, Melvin Gordon, Madsen should be a drop soon, and Dobbins, who I haven't played on the roster, who I haven't put on the roster yet. I think it goes with this one here. Running back waivers, homers, James Cook, Gainwell, Hubbard, all these guys. Not many running backs. Should I drop in my question above for maybe a James Cook?
Let me go back to the other one. Por favor.
I'm confusing the hell out of myself.
Yeah, I would get rid of Melvin Gordon. Yeah, I don't want Melvin Gordon. Get rid of Melvin Gordon right now and pick up James Cook. Why not? I would even drop Melvin Gordon for Chuba Hubbard at this point. I mean, I would maybe even drop Melvin Gordon for like a breakfast burrito.
Taco Bell bacon crunch wrap.
Oh my gosh, they're so
All right, this one's from Chad. Would you start Godwin or Rashad White over any of T. Higgins, Pollard, CMC, Connor, or Dane Pierce?
Start Godwin or Rashad White. I mean, other than White over Pierce, I mean, no. I mean, I like Godwin, but no, I think I want to keep CMC, Connor, and Pollard in. Higgins and Godwin are like flip flop. I'm fine with either one, and White and Pierce. So definitely playing Pollard, CMC, and Connor.
That Godwin one for me is close. You're right. Yeah, I would probably go with what Guest says. All right.
I mean, I'm fine with Godwin over T. Higgins. I'm fine. Absolutely.
He's just the target share that he's getting is just ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But we talked about in the recording show, it could be a Julio Jones type of situation. At least I think, in my opinion, as well, to get the ball. Would you just throw White and Pierce in and bench Barkley anyway, even if he does play?
If it was me, I don't know. I would be hard pressed to bench Barkley. But I'll tell you what I would be doing as soon as you're done watching the show and hanging out with us, I would be checking every single report, even if you don't have a Twitter account. I'm looking on Twitter. I wanted every morsel of news I could find out about what Saquon is doing at this moment for every moment leading up until 1 p.m.
I agreed. I have Barkley in a couple leagues, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. All right, this one's from Chad. Cousins or Huntley for the rest of the season while Lamar is out. Hearing he may not be back until semifinals for the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah. It all depends. Without looking at the schedule, I mean, you can't play Kirk Cousins on the road. You can't play him on the road, especially if it's at night. I don't know if they have how many more road games they have. I'm going to guess at least 1 or 2. I don't know how many night games they have. They could possibly have 1 left. But to be honest, I mean, you might as well just keep Huntley. And then when Lamar comes back, then you play Lamar. If Lamar never comes back, you have Huntley. It's the boat you're in. I think today I'd probably lean Cousins. But for the rest of the season is what you're talking about. I mean, if you're playing Cousins over Huntley today, then you have no choice. Then you have to roll with Cousins the rest of the season. Otherwise, you just stick with Baltimore.
All right. Tim with another one here. My wide receiver is DK, Evans, Devonta, and Claypool. Waivers are Isaiah, McKinnon, Parker, Charm, Corey D, Elijah Moore, Demarcus Robinson, Westbrook Akina, or Duvernay, Dorsett, Chris Moore. Anyone worth picking up from who I have?
Let me read this here. My wide receiver, DK, Evans, Devonta, Claypool. I mean, Claypool, goodbye. Especially he's on a bye. He hasn't done anything. He got hurt last week. Goodbye, Claypool.
Chris Moore was somebody that I had mentioned in the recorded shows. I like him a lot today. I think he's going to get a lot of love. Mills being back. I don't know if I may play him over Claypool in my opinion, but that's risky. Oh, Claypool's out. Okay, so
bye, right? Bears. Yeah. Bears are on a bye.
That's right. Claypool is out. You're 100% correct. My bad.
That's what I mean. And I would drop him anyways. I don't know who Charm is. I'm guessing Chark, maybe.
That makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Parker for some reason on Monday night. I just have a feeling he's due. And Chris Moore, like you said, I think Chris Moore and Dorsett, it's going to be one of those two. Demarcus Robinson's been hot. Huntley came into the game last week and towards the end was starting to use him. So, yeah, you got to get Claypool off your team and just pick up one of those guys and then just sort of play carousel with them the rest of the year. But Rob likes Chris Moore, and I could see it for sure. They're going to need somebody to come through. No Cooks, no Collins. So, definitely.
All right, Tim, sorry for the long comments, guys. It's been a busy week. I really would like to win, get the bye week. No worries, bud. Titans D over Ravens D then?
I think so.
I'm in the same boat. I'm going Titans D.
I think so. I mean, I think Jacksonville, I think ETN will be fine. Kirk will be fine. Zay Jones could do something. But I do think that Tennessee at home will look to run the ball, and I just think there's going to be less possessions in that game, probably close to similar point totals. But I like Tennessee. If Lawrence is out or gets taken out, I think you got a better shot.
Agreed. Spencer says, I didn't hear if you would like Deontay Johnson over Ayuk.
Yes, don't mind that at all.
All right, Tim with another one here. Tight end Knox or Hooper, Chiggy, Akins, Otten, Likely, Disley, Jordan, Bellinger. Knox would not be. I would definitely any of those above Knox.
Yeah. You know my feelings about Chiggy, and Brevin Jordan we talked about in the recorded shows last week as well. Was finally activated, was very involved. And listen, since the preseason, Brevin Jordan was my dude. It could be finally coming into fruition. And Chiggy, since like week 5, has been my dude, and he's coming into fruition. And without Treylon Burks, I know that I just said they're going to look to run the ball, but all he does is catch 30-yard passes. And then last week he caught like 3 or 4 extra ones on top of that. And the coaches flat out said, oh man, this guy's pretty good. I think we're going to start using him more. So it's between Chiggy and Jordan. I think Chiggy's safer. Brevin Jordan is pretty good. But then we also can't forget about Cade Otton and Bellinger in there. So I think you got good choices. I think my 2 guys, Brevin Jordan and Chiggy Okonkwo, I think are a little more answers by guessish. They're a little more outside the box. If you want to go a little bit of a safer route, I think Otten is safer. But I think this week, I think you have to go Bellinger in a volume game against one of the 3 worst teams against the tight end. The Eagles, the Cardinals, the Cowboys. Those are the 3 worst. Bellinger, a second week back. They're going to need him. Going against Philly, I'm going Bellinger out of this crew.
Otten's very close for me. I agree. Bellinger should have a better role. And there's a lot of people to feed in Tampa Bay. Go with guess. All right, this one's from Leon. All right, if I win, I'm in, and I'm stuck in bye hell. Only backs are Najee and Carter. Do I just roll with it? Or now that it's a tiny bit clearer picture in Seattle, do I go Homer? Waiver is thin as hell. He said the people on waiver are Cook, Matson, Mason, and Jones Jr. That's all that's out there.
Oh my gosh. So it's like James Cook, Michael Carter, Travis Homer. Really. You know what I'm going to do? Michael Carter's back, but it's 4 running backs there now, and I think Zonovan sort of took his job. Carter will be the number 2 over Ty. So I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to roll the dice, and while I'm not quite sure that it's what happened, as I talked about earlier in today's show and in the recorded shows, I'm not quite sure, based on my further analytics, that Cook took it from Singletary. I think it was a product of them being in complete dominance of the Patriots. I'm going to say Cook as my number 2, and I'm going to take a shot that he has done it. because even if he hasn't, he's close to 50% share. He's more talented than Homer, probably more talented than Carter. Carter's sharing with at least three other running backs. Homer's sharing with at least two today. I'm going to go with James Cook. I'm going to go Najee and Cook.
Yeah, I think you have to do that just because you're right. The carousel that's happening with the Jets, and then you don't know what's going to happen with that offense. Mike White's really the question mark there. So at least you know you're getting Josh Allen and he's getting the ball. All right, Spencer. How about a new chair? I agree.
I ask for a lot of things.
Write it on your list for Santa,
hey, you
bro.
can poop in one hand and ask in the other. Bills up first.
It was Chark from Tim, not Charm. But I wish everybody was named Charm. And Lawrence is playing.
Yeah, we knew he was. But like I said, I mean, a little less mobile because it's a foot injury and steps on the wrong lineman's foot or gets tackled and landed on the wrong way. I'm going to guess. I mean, Lawrence hasn't been a world beater, but I'm just going to guess the offense is not as good with Mr. Beathard as it is with Mr. T-Law. So, but Beathard, I mean, in all honesty, has been okay in mop-up duty or emergency work. So it won't be terrible. How it doesn't change things for me. Like I have a feeling Kenny Pickett's going to blow up either this game or one of the final 4 games. I just don't want to be on the wrong side of it today. I'm going to go with a little bit safer option. I'm going to play Tennessee at home.
All right, I got a couple questions for you, bud. For me, Arizona defense or Baltimore defense?
I kind of like Arizona's defense because it's Monday night at home. A lot of times there's defensive touchdowns. I might just throw Arizona in. So I got something on Monday night just in case. They have been playing pretty good sneakily, and coming off the bye at home, I think it's a pretty decent spot.
All right, my next one is James Conner or Palmer in a flex position.
I think I'm going to do the same thing. However, I must caution you. I cannot recommend players that I do not like. Did not like James Conner, so I cannot recommend him. But
are you giving me the wink?
But I'm not down, and I said it last week, even when people thought that Mike Williams was going to be back last week. Guys, so what? Who cares? Josh Palmer is playing just fine. He's not garbage. He never was garbage when everybody was healthy. He's their 3rd wide receiver, and on that team, that's okay. So I'm not down on Palmer. I'm fine with him as well. I just like the other guy who I can't recommend a little bit more.
Understood. All right. I don't see any other questions. You want to go into your final thoughts here, sir?
I mean, there's nothing left to really think about. This is it. My final thought is, I see a couple other questions coming in. We'll get to those in a second. My final thoughts are, this was a super ridiculous season. I think we all could agree. I think even the people that get paid to do what we think we're cool doing right here in Answers by Guests probably would agree that this season was a bit ridiculous. So if you wind up missing the playoffs after today or tomorrow, or your regular season already ended, which some people I'm surprised that it has. I find it ridiculous. You got to play till week 14. There's still 4 weeks left. You can get your playoffs in. If you end up missing the playoffs, don't get down on yourselves. You know that the offseason is going to be long. Rob, you've had a couple thoughts about things that have pissed you off this season that you've shared with me. A couple other people, because I'm a commissioner in a few leagues. And then also people talk to me from the show at work and whatnot, and they're just like, oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to do it next year. And my answer is, you got a long time. let the feelings cool down. This season was about as ridiculous as it gets. You put your best foot forward, and you know a lot of things that I think that should have happened or could have happened didn't happen this year, and we put it behind us. And we look forward towards the future. Reflect on what went wrong, what you did well that still didn't work out, and then focus on your family and your friends for the holidays and enjoy them stress free. Because one of the blessings in disguise is being eliminated from fantasy football. In all honesty, your stresses just alleviate. And with week 14 being 2 weeks before Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas or any holiday that you celebrate, it might be going on now, might happen after, it doesn't matter. When you don't have fantasy to think about, like, the smiles just become bigger. They really do. I mean, we love it, but we hate it. And if it doesn't work out for you after today, it's not the end of the world. However, if it does, then we'll see you next week.
I like it. All right, let's go to these questions quickly here. This one's from William. Flex option: Devontae Smith, Gabe Davis, or Fournette. Add Juju to that list as well.
You know what? I like Devonta Smith, and because Gabe Davis so up and down, Fournette's banged up. If it's not Devonta, then I'm going Juju. It's one of those two for me. Juju going against Denver, I think that they could utilize him. Devonta's such a big play. Last week was big with AJ Brown. It could fall into his lap here. So I'm going to go with Devonta Smith.
I'm going to agree. All right, this one's from Keith. I have Chubb starting, but who to start at running back 2? Jones or Hunt?
Yeah, this is one of those situations. I'm starting Hunt. I'm going with both Browns. Just hope they get close and that Watson doesn't vulture you. I mean, because he's certainly capable of it, but there's no way that I'm going to. I mean, Tony Jones, I mean, he is what he is. I mean, he was a preseason star, was supposed to be something for New Orleans, never amounted to anything. He could be the most involved of the three today, but I mean, if I had to take a guess, I would put my eggs in Wayne Gallman's basket over the other two, to be honest. And if I had to say who's going to be the best pass catcher, I would say Travis Homer over Tony Jones. So that puts him at third. So give me Hunt, who was better last week with Watson, and then hopefully when they get close, Watson doesn't steal it, and you get it with either Chubb or Hunt. Best I can do there.
All right. Michael says he missed his question. Let me get back to it up here. Hold on one sec. All right. Due to bye weeks and injuries, I need 2 of the following 3 wide receivers in a big money league: Dorsett, Dortch, or Aguilar, PPR and point per target, as well as point for every 5 yards receiving. Are the people available: Watkins, Sherfield, James Jr., Hodgins, Bourne, Schultz, and Sky Moore?
I went Dortch, this week's guesstimator.
Dortch.
In case you didn't watch the videos, which most people did not. And Hodgins. I like the trajectory he's on. So Dortch and Hodgins.
All right. And Tim saying the last 3 seasons have been nuts. I think we can all agree COVID did a lot of the damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure if COVID had much to do with this year, but yes, sure.
All right, guys. Remember to like us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Patreon. Always look for those hashtags, Answers by Guests, and ABGFF. We appreciate every single one of you, and good luck. Hopefully you make the playoffs, and you'll be back with us, I guess, Tuesday for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and also keep in mind that things are going to get wacky, right? We got a Saturday game next week, if I'm not mistaken.
3
right,
Saturday games.
3 Saturday games. And then, Christmas falls on a Sunday, and there's only 3 games, I think, on Sunday.
All the games are on Saturday.
All the games are on Saturday. So things are going to get crazy. So somebody, I don't know who it was, maybe it was Spencer, maybe it wasn't Spencer, said, 10 o'clock start. Yeah, we posted that.
That was Tim.
Tim, we posted that over 24 hours ago. It's on the page. Maybe you missed it. That's fine. it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is stay up to date with all the posts. If you haven't done so in the group page, you got to click on those dots and click to get notified with every single post that comes through. Like, yeah, you'll get notified when Jim Smith or Tony Michaels makes a post about whatever, but you are up to date because things are going to get wacky. Because we'll do a Tuesday show, and that's going to cover the Thursday game. But then we might have to end up doing like a Saturday morning show next week to take care of the Saturday games, or a Friday night show, which would be a big show that'll just take everything. So just stay up to date. We haven't figured it out yet, but there will be a show Tuesday, and hopefully we have some more clarity then. And hopefully you're still alive. And if you're not, you're at least stress free, as I spoke about.
All right, Spencer, with the last one here, would you grab Tannehill over Watson? He has his last waiver options. This is for rest of season.
No, I'm going to bet
agree.
on Watson getting better each and every week. He's a top 5 quarterback throughout his career.
All right, guys, answers by guess. See you soon. Peace.
See ya.